Hi. So in this video, I will be focusing on one-to-many relationship, what they are and how to do them in Django. But before this, let's actually refactor this structure. And yeah, so as you remember, I think the first video, I just typed Python -m Django start project, and I just typed API, which means it will start a project in a folder called API inside my Django API folder. And what I should have done is Django start project dot, which means in the current directory. So it's actually got pointed out by one, sorry, by one of the viewers. So thank you for that. I actually did not know about this, which is very nice. So yeah, and I'm gonna fix this. I need all of these files, the init, the settings, the URLs in the root of the project. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, let me first delete this file, and you don't need to delete it, but I'm just gonna get these and move them up here. And now delete our API folder. And this is the structure that I want. So let's now actually try to run the server and see the errors and resolve them, because this, of course, will break stuff. So first thing, I'm gonna open PowerShell. Gonna stick with Windows for now. So first thing, let me activate my virtual environment. So in Windows, VNV scripts activate. This is a bash script, will activate the virtual environment. In Linux, you will type source VNV bin, then activate. This is what you will type in Linux or Mac. So after you activated that, let's actually try to run Python manage.py run server. You'll see no module named API. Let's actually fix this. So if you type Ctrl-Shift-F and API dot, you'll see API dot is referenced in many places, and we just need to remove that. Now we are like dealing with the root. We are dealing with files at the root level, right? They are not in the API folder. So just remove API dot from here, also from here, from manage.py, also from the settings. So this will now point to the URLs at the root. Another place, I think they are here, and this would be here. Nice. So now this actually should work, but you'll notice something, or it's kind of error. I'll show it to you. So this now runs, but it tells you have 19 unapplied migrations. And if you open your, like, if you are using VS Code, if you open the integrated Git UI, you'll see it actually created this db.sqlite outside the current folder. As you can see here, it's actually ignored inside this structure, but let's actually go outside and open the whole project, which contains a React app and a Django app. You will see it's actually got created here. So I'm going to delete this one. I need to use this one here, the original database that we have. In the future, this does not matter in the future, but for now, I'll just gonna fix it. So as you can see in your settings, which holds all the configuration for your Django app, you'll see this databases dictionary. So this is the default connection, or the default driver that connects to the database. So this will go to the base directory /SQLite. I'm gonna change this to go to the current directory and just create that file there. And since it's already created here, it will use the same file, and we won't see this. You have 19 unapplied migrations. It will just work fine because we already run these migrations, if you remember. Let me just go to the Django API, then run server, and everything is fine. So we like return to the original point. So let me now just git commit refactor, just to save our changes. I hate seeing a lot of changes here. So yeah, now this is fine. So let's now focus on relationships. So I'm gonna explain it like you don't even know what they are. So in relational databases, SQL, which SQLite uses behind the scenes, of course, at some point I'm gonna switch to Postgres, but for now I'm gonna stick with SQLite. So in relational databases, we represent relations by referencing like the IDs of different records in a specific table. For example, a user can have many posts in our like social media or a blog website, and each post can only belongs to one user. This is called one-to-many relationship. If you think about it, one user can have many posts, and one post can only belongs to one user. That's why it's called one-to-many. And the way we do it, for example, and this is the usual way. So we have here my users table. Let's say it's like this. So I have this user ID 1, name, me, and we have these posts. ID 1, body, anything. Now we have a user underscore ID. This is now 1. In SQL or in relational databases, this means this post is created by this user. And this will actually represent a one-to-many relationship. So as you can see, this user have 3 posts. Another user, for example, have only 1 post, which is the user of ID 2. And of course, this user ID field cannot be null, so it should always be there. You can't create a post without a user, right? So this is the basic idea. And another thing, this user underscore ID will not be just a normal integer field. It will be foreign key of type integer. So yeah, this is like a small introduction to how we represent relations in SQL for one-to-many. We will, of course, represent many-to-many as well. Okay. And another thing, in Django, we are using ORMs, which stands for Object Relational Mappers. And they just abstract SQL syntax and gives us like, yeah, abstraction and shorter syntax. And for people who are not that good in SQL, it makes like writing queries very easier. Of course, if you understand what ORMs do, but at the end, you should really know and understand SQL to be able to write powerful and performant ORM queries or ORM code that will be converted to SQL queries. So yeah, I'm just gonna show you a simple example. So for example, I'm gonna do select star from users, join posts on posts.user ID. I'm gonna show you in a second what this do. Equal users.id, where user.id equal 1. So here I am getting all the posts and the user information for the user that have an ID of 1. Okay. So to do this in ORM, for example, in Django, I'm gonna do the following. I'm just gonna show you the 2 different syntax. Okay. So user will be equal to user class.objects, for example, dot filter. ID will be equal 1, and now user.posts. Maybe this is a function. I'm gonna do this. So this will return an array of all the posts for the user ID of 1. And if you compare these like 2 lines or 2 scripts, you'll see this is definitely shorter and easier for most people to understand. So this is actually, or this is the basic idea behind ORMs. They give you a shorter syntax, they abstract things. For example, if I have a query of 200 lines, if I wrote it in ORMs, it could be like 50 lines or 100 lines. So it makes things shorter. And another benefit, when I used to write PHP, like before even I knew that something like ORMs existed, I would do the following. So let's imagine this is a PHP file. Well, the same thing applies in Django. So I will define a variable called SQL, and I will put a string like this, and this will be the ID, and this will be the F string in Python, and I will have this. Maybe this will be a function like get posts ID. Now I'll have my connection dot execute maybe this SQL, and I'm gonna return the result. And the engine behind the scenes will format this to a dictionary in Python and whatever, or a list of dictionaries. But this is how I used to write PHP back in the days, like 4 years ago or 3 years. So, and I think we all agree that if this is like a 200 lines query, it won't be that good. Just a big string written in the middle of your file. So that's another reason why people actually moving to ORMs or already moved to ORMs. I know few people that actually do this now. And yeah, anyway, this is like a small introduction to why we use them. And we already used them in the previous videos. We defined this class which represents the user table. We have this email, we defined it, we did all of these. And in this video, I'm gonna do a model called posts, and each user can have many posts. That's it. So Python manage.py start app. I'll call this app post, and this is the basic idea. I'm gonna just create a bunch of apps for each part of our whole project. And this is how Django projects are actually done. You have a single project with multiple apps inside of it. So everything related to the post, it will be just here. So let me create a class called post, and it will extend from models, model. All your classes or your models or classes that represents tables in the database, which we usually call models, should extend this class. So this will have, for example, a body. This body type or this body property in this class will be converted to a field in the database. This will be from type text, and I'll just give it null equal true, sorry, equal false. So you can't have a post without a body. This is like sort of validations. And now I will have a property called user. This will be model.foreign key. I need here to put the user's model. So from user.models import user, and let's just put this one here. And this won't create a field called user in the posts table. This will just create user like this, user underscore ID, and this will be a foreign key of type integer pointing to the user table. This is what this means, okay? But another thing, what will happen if a user data got deleted? For example, the user did not want to be part of the platform anymore, so he will just like delete his data. What we should do, we should go to all the places that references this user and delete those records as well. So the same thing applies for the post. If I deleted my data, all my posts should be removed. To do this in SQL, there is something called cascade. It's something exists in SQL already. And to do this in Django, ORM, you'll put on delete will be equal to models dot cascade, I think dot delete. I don't actually remember. Let me see my previous code. Yeah, just models.cascade. That's it. So yeah, but before I actually run the migration for this, I need to do a couple of things. First thing, I'm gonna go to the settings and go to installed apps. We need to point to our post because right now it's not part of our project. So post. Before this, before I actually also continue, I need to create a base model that have some common properties. For example, it's like a tradition in relational databases or anytime you save data actually to save when this data actually got created and when this data actually got updated. Because I'm gonna do the same thing, add these two properties in many places. I'm gonna create a parent model class that all my models extend from it. And I'm gonna put it in I'm gonna put it in a different project, in a different app. So I can use it in all the other apps I have and any projects in the future. So it will be called common. And let's actually go here inside the models, and I'm gonna create this class base model, and all extends from models, and all your models should do this. Okay. Now created at this will be models.datetime field, and I will give it auto now add equal to true. Updated at this will be equal to models.datetime field auto now equal to true, and there is actually a difference between them. Auto now equal to true. So sorry, this will only update on creation. So when you create a specific record, the current date time will be saved in the created at. Updated at will always be updated, or yeah, it will always be updated on each time you update this record. So this is the difference between these two like arguments that we passed. This will only run one time when you create this record. This will run each time you update this record, and it will insert the current date time, which is very nice. It helps us. But if I go now and register this here, when I try to run the migrations, Django will try to create this class or this table called base model, and I don't want that. There is a way to prevent this from happening. I can tell it Django that, hey, this is a model just for other models to extend from, not something that you should migrate. And to do this, you can create a meta class inside your class, and this is something valid in Python. You can define classes inside of classes and just give it abstract to true. This will actually just tell Django, hey, just ignore this. This is not in the migrations. This is a base model for other models. And what I'm gonna do now, from common.models import base model, and just extend it here. And let's remove this line. We don't need it. Save. Also remove it from here. Save. Now this actually work. So Python manage show migrations. This will show us the migrations that we already run and the migrations that we did not run. Okay. And as you can see, for the post and the command, we have no migrations, but we know that we should have, right? So let's actually generate them. So Python manage make migrations. It's actually created only for the post, which makes sense, right? Because we defined this base model as abstract. Let's run the migrations. So just migrate. Everything went fine. Let's actually open this in dbeaver, a very good tool. Let me make sure that you actually can see this. I think you can now. So just click on this. Now go to SQLite. You need to give it the path. So it's in projects. This one. Now here. It's here. I'm gonna rename it recording. Doesn't matter. Just need to distinguish it. So if you click to the on the post table and click ER diagram, you will see that we have this relation, and as you can see, we have user underscore ID will point to the user by ID. So and this line actually tells us that this relation is one-to-many relation. And just extra tips, if you don't like the way that Django names the models, you can actually change that, because if you think about it, it's the name of the app. We have this app called post, right? Then the name of the class in lowercase. So the name of the app underscore the name of the model. So as you can see, if you don't like this, I think you can do table name or db name. I actually don't quite remember, but change db table name Django. Yeah, sorry. So you'll just do this. I just googled that. Maybe I should showed you. Let me make sure actually that you can see. My recording is really hard. Anyway, so you will put like this meta class and db table equal post, and this will, now you need to run another migration. This will change the name of your table, but I will just stick with the defaults for now. So yeah, now this will be it. We will continue defining some other models and yeah, some other relations. We will look into many-to-many and stuff like that. At some point, we will go to the front end and start implementing more complex stuff. We will start implementing APIs and stuff like this. So yeah, I think the last thing I wanna talk about, maybe something I missed, text field is for storing very long texts, because I am planning to store HTML in the body, so I can actually show it to the user at the end. And maybe I will use WYSIWYG. If you don't know about these, WYSIWYG, you see them all the places, something like this. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not gonna waste more of your time. This is it for this video. Let me commit, and that's it. I'm gonna create one-to-many relation. Okay. Anyway, bye.